Hello, my big dog lovers. Happy Veterans Day. Today is a very, very special time, very special episode because I am going to introduce the person I've been talking about. She is right beside me there. That is finally the other half.
Good afternoon, Canine fans.
Finally got her in on the videos. You can see that we're at a different location. We're not in the backyard and we're not in our neighborhood. We're no longer in Kansas anymore. We are at the state park. So, and we have the whole gang here. We've got the little bit, Mr. Meaner Misty. Yeah, she's the little one. I have Storm the Rottweiler. And we have big boy, Rain the Connie Corso. So, again, today is Veterans Day. So, a big shout out to all of those who are serving alongside me. I am active duty military. And shout out to my son. He's active duty. His girlfriend, she's active duty military. My late father-in-law, who we all miss very, very dear, who served and retired. Just want to give everyone, I've got some more family members, some extended family members who are also military. And we just want to give everybody who served or who has served a big thank you. This country doesn't run on its own. Freedom isn't free, as they say. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for everything that you've done for this country. And so we just want to give you guys some more information about what's going on with these two. So I talked last time about socializing big girl and big boy. And so we're in the middle of that. You probably noticed something different about Storm. Yeah, well, we tried to muzzle her, but as you can see, we had a little bit of an issue there. So you can probably guess. Okay, she's turning her head away. You probably guess what that issue was. They got a hold of the muzzle before I could fit it and put on her. So I'm only just putting it on there her now just to get her used to something on her face, and she's doing okay with it. Not necessarily the happiest with it, but we still are looking forward to introducing Big Girl tomorrow to being outside with some people that she's never met before. Wifey is not particularly happy about having a broken muzzle. She thinks it makes her look a little bit more menacing than what she is. And I understand. I agree. It's a little bit too real for everyone. But today is just mainly just so that she can get used to having it on her face, and I think she's tolerating it pretty well. So it's a good first start. I think Wifey and the little one have kind of hung back a little bit there. But we're just happy that the weather today is wonderful. We were in Chicago last weekend, and oh, I was in love with the weather. Wifey, I think, sort of liked the weather. Did you like the weather in Chicago? Yeah, so she's saying hi and yawning at the same time. So I'm putting her on the spot. Sorry, honey. So, but I love the weather. The grass was green. The um, the temperature was perfect. I saw kids out there playing soccer, and I was thinking, man, I wish we could be here and having our kids out there in this wonderful weather. Of course, the week before they had a bunch of snow, and so I was getting a small sampling of the weather, and that small sampling was nice. But now that I'm back home in Texas, we're in South Texas, of course, and I'm thinking, wow, it's pretty nice out here. I mean, I think this is just as nice here than it was in Chicago. So maybe I spoke a little too soon about wanting to go hang out there in Chicago whenever we have the same thing here. However, we did have a very, very spicy summer this year. I mentioned this before. We had 74 days over 100-degree weather, right? So it was pretty, pretty hot. So I guess right now I'm in love with anything under 100 degrees. So we're excited today. We're doing something different in a new location. You would not expect something as beautiful and shaded as you see here in the part of town where I live, or at least a part of South Texas in which I live. Because in our neighborhood, we don't have, it's not very wooded, it's not very tree covered, it's kind of open, it's very sandy soil. So this state park is only about, I'd say, 5 miles or so from where we live, and it's just like an oasis. It's a total different soil, total different trees. These are primarily pecan trees, and so it's very nice that we have something like this. And we didn't really know about this till um, recently, even though we've been here for a while, I guess. So it's very, very nice to have this where we can walk, exercise the pups like we normally do, and they need to change the scenery every now and then. So we just enjoy it. We don't really eat the pecans like we could, as we're too busy strutting our stuff. But it's just a wonderful day to be out. I can finally convince wifey to join me. No fault of her own. She's very, 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 very busy lady. So, and we'll hopefully hear more from her a little later. I think she's getting on to her microphone.
Good afternoon, fans. A dog walk is a really great way when you're introducing new members of the pack and to build that community with them. Dogs move as a pack, and having them walk. Our dogs are all different ages. We've gotten them all at different times. So we had to build our own pack, and having them walk together is a really good way to build that sense of unity. It's what they would do naturally. We love it. It's like it also wears them out, so they really don't have the energy to fight as much. They don't have the energy to be aggressive, and it makes them feel like they're, to quote the movie, one band, one sound. And so it's just a really great way to just kind of build everybody together. And everybody's walking at their own pace. They're very, very happy. They're loving exploring these different smells that they don't experience normally throughout the week. Especially the little one. With her being older, we do not, we try to be mindful of the pain she sometimes experiences in her shoulders, but she is definitely a big dog in a little dog's body, and she wants to mark and let everybody know that she was here.
She's going all over the place.
So
she's excited to be out.
She's very excited. I would caution, especially those of you that have really young dogs, just like a young child is susceptible to so many diseases. When you take your dogs out and about, be mindful that they're not going places where there's a lot of dog feces and things like that that's not cleaned up well. They can get sick, and that sickness, not only is it heart-wrenching for you as an owner, it's also very, very expensive to wait for them to heal from. And we want to make sure that we are keeping everybody safe. Sorry, we had a little leash tangle up with our pack, but no, I'm like, we want to make sure that we're keeping them safe. We're keeping them on the trail. We're taking them places where people clean up after their dogs, so we don't have issues with them encountering infested poop. That's just definitely a reminder of taking care of them. Often we think, oh, they're outside, it's just dogs, but just like people catch germs from being out and about, our dogs can catch different germs and parasites by being out and about.
Yeah, I think that's an important fact. The wifey's talking about germs. One of the things that I had done in the past, and I've stopped doing this, is putting those little wipes, those little disinfectant wipes that you can buy into the truck, because they're walking at all kinds of stuff, and there's all kinds of bacteria, things that they can encounter. I think one of the most scary things to think about is parvo. I've kind of mentioned parvo in one of my prior videos, but parvo stays in the soil for years. Not very many things kill parvo, and you literally have to bleach parvo, and I'm always afraid because big girl, she caught parvo when she was, I think, a year old, right, sweetheart? About a year old? little over a year or around about a year.
Just under a year.
That was sounding like a gunshot.
So,
But and you know, she was fully vaccinated too. So, and we did research after the fact because we were very taken aback. We were very surprised. Like, how can a vaccinated dog catch parvo, right? So you probably wondering that same questions, but apparently Rottweilers can still get parvo, even if they've been vaccinated as puppies. And so thank goodness the drug company that so we had to get our lot number together, and we basically filed a claim for towards the pharmaceutical company that made the vaccine, and they actually contribute to, and then it wasn't enough to cover the cost for the entire medical bill because they were in the hospital. I say they were because her brother was there too. They were in the hospital for, well, how much, baby?
for almost a week.
Week and a half.
And the thing about parvo is it gets really dangerous really quickly. They go from being just fine to being lethargic, and if you don't act within those first 24 hours, it can truly be fatal. So we were very thankful to the facility that took both of our dogs in and kept us updated every step of the way. But as one pet parent to another, I would not wish that on anybody. Please protect your dogs. If you think about the hand wipes or the paw wipes that my husband was talking about, it's tantamount to just like you tell your kids to wash their hands throughout the day. When their paws touch everything, just wash your dog's paws. Help them keep safe because they touch everything with their feet, and then they lick their feet, they lick each other's feet. It's just another layer of protection.
Yeah, and parvo spreads because the dog actively sheds the viral particles as they poop, and they poop themselves to dehydration, which is what causes them to usually succumb to it. They're just dehydrated, and that's why they had to stay in the hospital for, like, she was there for a whole entire week and a half, and her brother was there for a week, and it was very, very heart wrenching. And his wife, he just said, I mean, that's something that you would not want to wish on anybody. You know, you want to bring somebody to their knees. It brought me to my knees, because I was completely scared. I've never seen you have a healthy pack of dogs. She must see something over there. They're vibrant. They're, you love them. You spend so much time with them, and then all of a sudden they're just sick. They're puking. They have diarrhea, and when they came out of the veterinary hospital with the results, because we were in the parking lot, saying that she had parvo, I mean, my wife just bursted into tears. And I mean, it was like what we heard. I think what we both heard was death sentence, and that's true. I think untreated, it is a death sentence for these pups. And one of the saddest moments for me was whenever they were in the hospital, or she was in the hospital, and we were allowed to come visit her, and she was so cachectic, or she had lost so much weight, and she was just cowering in the corner, and I don't think she recognized us. She didn't recognize me.
She was very scared.
Just scared, and and wifey will tell you, this girl here, her and I have bonded, on a total different level. I'm like her human. So for her to not recognize me, and her favorite person in the world, I think, right, wifey, maybe?
Yes.
Okay. That was heartbreaking to watch that. Very heartbreaking.
I think what's alarming, what I would warn any new pet parent with, is how fast it takes hold of them. They go from being perfectly fine to, not eating. And, if the dog misses one meal, you're probably not too worried about it. But for a puppy, not quite a full year old, to stop eating, she lost weight very quickly, and she just looked very miserable. The other plug I would put in is often, when you, as my husband has said before, when you buy these dogs, when you pay for their food and all the things that you buy for them, the other thing that you have for them is pet insurance. And the question is always, is this worth it?
Oh, yes.
And for us, and I will be the first to admit that I was ready to cancel it, because if you think about the cost of pet insurance times 3 dogs adds up very, very quickly. But when they got sick, I was very thankful I hadn't canceled it, because they were able to offset the cost that for the hospital stay, because it's not hundreds of dollars, it becomes thousands of dollars with all the testing and everything that they're doing.
And you guys don't know how close. And she said she was about to cancel that insurance policy. I mean, how close were you, sweetheart? I think
it was less than a week.
She was getting ready to cancel. And you're talking about a vet bill between both dogs was $30,000. Am I correct?
Just shy of
$30,000. Okay, we may have an interaction here. There's a little dog in the distance that's off leash, and the owner is whistling. Okay, I might have to give this camera to you, sweetheart, because I might have to hold tight. So let's keep walking.
We're gonna keep walking. Right now the dogs haven't, well, I said they haven't caught wind yet. Dogs are who they are. They're naturally curious. They want to see what's going on. Our Stormy girl has, I'm sorry, my thumb is blocking it. I have things in my hand. Our Stormy girl has caught wind of the dog that's running this direction. I hope the owner catches them. But the other thing that we always want to protect our dogs from is a negative interaction, because that memory stays with them, and it colors how they react the next time. So
we make a right here and go to
case in point, our small dog, one right here, we used to take her to the dog park all the time. She had one negative encounter with a larger dog, and then became very aggressive towards dogs. Before that, she was super friendly with dogs. She's always been great with people, but she was super friendly with dogs, and that really colored how she saw dogs going forward. It's just like everything else that you do, it's an investment, and you want to care for them and give them the best life that you can. So you always want to control as many of the variables as possible when it comes to their interactions. You want to set them up for success.
All right, thanks, sweetheart. I was really concerned because, this guy is clearly, he's got to pee, clearly not putting his dog on a leash, and so he's letting his dog roam around. And I know, I get it. You want your dog to have all the freedom in the world because you have the best dog, and your dogs are just well behaved. They're just a little curious, which is fine. It is so good, except I have 2 massive dogs who I am training to be good dogs, training to be okay with other puppies and other people, but we're not there yet. So you think it's okay because you have a sweet dog, but you're not considering what my dogs will do, right? I mean, I'm training them. I have both of my dogs on a very nice tight leash. I mean, well, it's tight today because they're being a little bit more exploratory, and they're not doing like we normally do in our walks. But the point is that I get that you want freedom for your dog and whatever, but we're out in public, and that means that you can't control what other dogs are going to do. And this guy's dog was coming directly at us, like ready to play, and he's a smaller dog, and I'm like, it's not my fault if your dog comes up to ours and they don't take too kindly to it, because yours is, I have control over my dogs. You don't.
My dad used to say, he said, they're your children, you need to control them. So it's very, you always just have to be on the lookout for dogs. And because dogs' body language is different than ours, the inexperienced owners may not read the situation well, and their wagging their tails are not always a sign of joy and acceptance.
Exactly.
Sometimes their wagging their tails is letting you know that something's really getting ready to happen.
Yep.
You just have to be very, very watchful of what's going on.
Absolutely. I think that's a very, very, very important point. People, I think, tend to get used to their personal situation, and they tend to think that they can take home with them wherever they go. Come on, big boy, that's not yours. And then they think that everything applies at home, out and about, and it doesn't. You know, that's why you want to give your dog the best. Now, thank goodness, it seemed like the dog came. He was right there in the field, but he came, turned around, and went back to the owner. Thank goodness. And plus, we kind of made a detour. But imagine if that dog would have kept coming directly, running towards us, and they would have, if they had felt threatened by that charging. You know, she's muzzled partially, as you can tell. It's kind of chewed up. And honestly, I'm more concerned about her because she's not necessarily accepting of new people and new animals.
I
She
would say
would have probably.
she's very reactive. Some of that's genetic. We got the opportunity to meet her mother and her father, so she's it's definitely a genetic trait, and it's part of the breed. It's part of what makes her an excellent guardian companion.
I've been saying that forever, guys. Wifey is confirming that.
But the thing about it is that we don't want to set her up for failure. I know that many people are scared of these big dogs because of the reputation they carry. We are consistently aware of the power that they possess, but we also want to give them the opportunity, as our daughter says, to prove that good training and good ownership makes a great dog.
Absolutely. Key words: good owners, good relationship, good dogs.
So I guess a case in point is that, from our Rottweiler's perspective, if you come into her space, you're walking toward her, and you're not familiar, she hasn't invited you, or you haven't invited her to come to you, she can perceive that as a threat. It's not 100%, but it does happen. And so we don't want to put our dog in a situation that would be negative for her. And we are very clear when we interact with other people, the best way to approach her. So I will say that our little one, even though she's not as powerful as these big dogs, she is definitely a big dog in a little tiny body, and she will not hesitate to alert you and go after what she perceives as a threat. And because she's the oldest one, they often follow her lead.
Yes, they learn from each other. I've talked about that before, and sometimes I like to think that bad behaviors propagate much faster than good ones. So it is paramount that you try your best to identify those areas where those behaviors that you don't want your dogs to do, and hurry up and kind of work on that so the other ones don't learn from it. Case in point, socialization of that girl. That's important because this guy learns a lot from her. And I keep repeating the story of whenever we were walking in the neighborhood and this girl lunged out at my former coach, and I was not happy for him to see that. So that started us down a journey. I asked for you guys' help, and you guys came through. Big shout out to Chris. Love conversating with that guy. He's amazing. He got good advice. Thank you very much, dude. And also, I just want to say some more shout outs because I've had some good comments from a lot of good people. And I want to just thank you guys for those comments. I know we are a small channel, but I just want to thank y'all because I think this is a village that we are in that helped raising these dogs because it takes a village, right? So we are very, very thankful for what you guys say, and I love hearing you guys' experiences about. I think there are some people trying to catcall our dogs, or I guess whistling at our dogs or whatever. I don't know what they are, but that's these dogs do get a lot of attention, so please watch out for your dogs and keep them close. But back to the people. Thank you guys. I think it was Aunt Lou. Was that who it was that made a comment recently? Aunt Lou, thank you for tuning in. Oh man, did I say your name wrong? Okay, I'm gonna get you right next time. I apologize. But thank you for sharing your experiences with me and with us. Thank you guys that have owned Rottweilers and Connie Corsos. Y'all's comments are just really, really, really reassuring. We often talk about how aggressive these guys can be when they play, and you guys offer a lot of support with me demonstrating how it's not personal. These guys aren't fighting; they're just that is how they are. Sorry, guys, I got tangled up in the collar coming in the leash, and your tail was caught. So you guys help validate what I'm saying. These guys are gonna play rough, and it's gonna sound to an unexperienced person, someone who's watching for the first time, they may feel the need to report me, to turn me in because, oh my God, these dogs are.
Did you mention the purring that they do?
Oh, they don't know about purring. This girl right here, she is something else. But Rottweilers purr.
I used to.
So, wifey, did you want to talk about that, or you want me to
Yes,
just leave
I
it
used
today?
to call them baby bears because of the sounds they make. If you're not used to big dogs, it sounds way worse than it is. It looks very intense, but like I said, you have to watch. You can't go by what human communication and human body language is. You go based on their communication, and you watch how they're interacting. You look, is the hair on their neck standing up? Are they being aggressive? Are they stopping when the other one indicates that they're tired or they want to do something different? Are they just going at it and just being mindful of when you need to de-escalate it and when they're just playing and burning off some steam? When I mentioned the purring, what happens is when you rub Storm, and it's feeling good, she will make this low growl, low guttural sound. And the first time she did it, it was surprising. But you realize that that is a trait of the breed, that they will purr and growl, but they really are telling you that they enjoy it. They really are telling you that they are enjoying what you're doing. And like I said, it's not the sound, it's her body language that lets you know that she's very happy to be next to you and enjoying the time that she's spending with you.
Yes, and so if you're not used to that, like we weren't used to it, and I was really taken aback. I was like, oh man, she's growling at me. She's gonna bite me. She's just like loving the affection, right? So that's something that Rottweilers do. If you didn't know, now you know. So it looks like we're coming up on the end of our walk. Was there any last things you want to say, wifey?
It's just a pleasure to spend this time with you guys. Thank you for all your support. We will continue to provide what we've learned with raising these babies. And if you have questions or ideas, please submit them in the comments.
All right. Happy Veterans Day to all you vets. Say goodbye, Missy. Bye.